Hola, hola, amigas, y bienvenidas to another episode of Modern Latina in Midlife podcast. I am your host, Sonia, accompanying you through the highs and lows and in betweens of being a midlife Latina, navigating life in this fast paced modern world. Today, I'm going to dive into a topic that never loses its thrill or its terror, a topic that elicits a whirl of emotions: dating in midlife. An experience as vibrant as varied as we all are, right? So I recently went to Ali Wong's new comedy show, and it was all about her dating life as a divorced woman, as a 40-year-old divorced woman with small children. If you know Ali Wong, you know she had us rolling with laughter. So much of what she said was so relatable. And I thought it's time to do a podcast on dating in midlife. It's been on my mind from the very beginning, um, because I am a woman in midlife who's been in the dating scene for the last 4.5 years or so, almost five. And I just thought after this episode, it's time. I know that my prima Jessica and I touched on it a little bit in episode 4, Champagne Charlas with Prima Jessica, if you want to go back and listen to that one. But it is definitely a topic that deserves its own episode. So I thought today I would share my own observations in the dating life. At this stage in life, many of us find ourselves divorced or widowed, or maybe we just never married. Maybe we just focused on our careers and we reached an age in midlife where we're like, okay, I'm ready for a relationship. And we find ourselves entering the dating scene again. And having been divorced or widowed at this age, entering the dating scene, it's quite different. In my case, my relationship ended in 2018. It wasn't a divorce because we were not married, but we were together for 8 years. And, we lived together for 5 years and we blended our families. So it was pretty legit. It was a long-term relationship, a very significant relationship for me in my life. Um, and when that relationship ended, I knew I wanted nothing to do with dating for a while. I needed to place my full focus on personal and family matters and also focus on my own growth and personal development. And I'm so glad I did that. My very first piece of advice for anyone who finds themselves about to enter the dating scene is to make sure that you like spending time with yourself first. Practice self love, do some personal development. Make sure that you want to date you. After a while, what came to me was, and also I'm not going to lie, I listened to a lot of podcasts and I read books, and, it's like here I was finding myself with two significant relationships under my belt. I'd been married once for 10 years, and then I was in this long term relationship for 8 years, which, we had talked about getting married. And if we had, we would have ended up divorced. So to me, I was like, okay, what's wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's up? So I did a lot of, personal development, focusing on me, but also reading up on relationships and just really trying to learn, more. So I spent a lot of time. And one thing that I learned was that I needed to become the person that I was looking for, that I would want to date myself. Would I want to date me? And so I became that. So my suggestion would be keep up with your hobbies. Do the things that you love and those that you've always been interested in doing, but you've never had a chance to do before. I kept myself very, very busy and involved. Um, I also encourage you to take yourself on dates. That was fun. Go to restaurants you've always wanted frequent, go to movies, go to a museum, an art gallery, a music festival by yourself. It feels awkward at first, but it really can be so much fun. You can learn a lot about yourself. And it really is interesting to go out and just people watch too. It's liberating. It's fun getting dressed up for yourself and hitting the town. And you never know. You could meet somebody at one of these places. And these are the things that you like to do. And so these are people that will most likely have something in common with you already right off the bat. Okay. Now, dating at any age can feel like an extreme sport. But when we hit midlife, it takes on a whole new level. We're no longer looking for simple, starry-eyed love of youth. We're not looking for the handsome man. We're not looking to mate. We're not looking to check off the boxes, get married and have the babies and buy the house and all that. We've already done that. So I found that there are three types of daters. Number one, those that just want to go out and have fun and companionship. Number two, those that just want to find someone or some people to embody their femininity with. And, you know, as Ali Wong said it best in her show, to get dick down. Hey, her words, not mine. And number three, those that truly want to find love and lifelong companionship again. A more mature, seasoned love, a love that appreciates the beauty of wisdom etched in laugh lines, the love that cherishes shared experiences over shared playlists. And but then fear sets in, regardless of which dater you are. Fear enters the scene. This is a word I often hear when I talk to my amigas and my primas about dating in midlife. Fear of the unknown, fear of being hurt, fear of starting all over again, fear of, what if this one fails again? Fear of being easily overlooked by the young 20 or 30-year-old version of ourselves that, in my case, men our age tend to go after. At least initially, right after the divorce, what I have seen is that men our age will go for the way younger woman. And then they come back. But, then they realize sometimes that, their interests are different and that they're at different time, points in their life. And frankly, we are feeling invisible at this age. This is a common word that I hear my prima say. It's like, I feel invisible. And I want to say this, it's okay to feel scared, but don't let that fear deter you from discovering the rewarding adventure that is midlife dating. Because, in my personal opinion, dating in midlife, especially as an empty nester, is the best dating experience I have had. And I can say that most of my friends, and I have friends in their 60s and 70s, say your 50s are the funnest. Whether they were married or they were divorced, they have all said the 50s was the best time of their lives. Now, I'm sure you've noticed that things have changed quite a bit in the dating scene. You've got dating apps and social media and video dates and so much more. But remember that these are just tools. And like any tool, it can be used for good and bad or bad. So that's up to you how you're going to put that to work for you. It's how we use them that matters. Use these tools as a way to meet like-minded people, but always keep safety at the forefront. And for those of us who are parents, we also need to think about how do we navigate when we have young kids or when we have teenagers or grown children. Do we introduce a new partner into our children's lives, and when? It's a delicate dance, And I suggest you get clear about what you want and what's going to work for you. Some people believe dating is not okay until the kids are gone. Don't bring anyone in the mix. Don't introduce anyone ever. Don't introduce another man to the kids. And if that's you, then stick with that. Some people believe that they want their kids to see them date, see them, see what it is like to be in a healthy and to see what it's like to be healthy and safe in dating, how to take inventory of someone to determine if they are fit in your life and if they fit your values. Be an example of a good dater instead of just letting them figure it out on their own and potentially make the same mistakes that we made. And that's valid as well. I've heard people mention it this way, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. We're not dead after all. We're still living human beings, and I think there's something to be said about showing, or trying, wanting to show our children, okay, this is what's being safe and dating is, and this is what it's like trying to find, you know, determine if someone is worthy of being in a relationship with, especially if our relationship with their other parent already has failed and maybe they saw and heard things that we wish they hadn't, and this gives them an opportunity to see that we all have the opportunity to start over, grow, and learn from, things that we might have wanted to do differently, and how to correct, right, and make healthier choices, for ourselves and for our family. So if that's you, then stick with that. Personally, if I had to do it all over again, I would not have moved in with someone after my divorce. I would have dated, and I would have let my kids know I was dating and possibly introduced them, of course, especially after a while, because I do want their honest opinion of this person, because that is important for me. They may see things, they know me, better probably than anybody else. um they know my energy, and they know if somebody's going to fit in, and I would want them to tell me. And I would have waited until they were grown to move in together, or to get married, but that's not what I did. And that was my experience. So from experience, that's my opinion now. And and I have my reasons for it, which I won't be discussing here, but that is something that, I don't know, I wish that people would have been a little bit more open with me when I was, a single mom with young children, instead of telling me, oh yeah, find somebody again and blah blah blah, make another life. I feel like, I don't feel like anybody was honest with me and told me this is what it's like when you blend a family. Like nobody went there. And I wish somebody had. So, anyway, story for another day. So, now I'm going to share with you my own dating experience. As I mentioned, when I left my last relationship, I wanted nothing to do with dating, as I had other things to attend to. But once I felt ready, I also realized I don't go out very much. And what I mean by that is I don't leave the house. I work from home. So I rarely go out to be in a place where I would potentially meet anybody. So I did what most people do, or what a lot of people do, is I got on a dating app, two dating apps to be exact. I tried Bumble and I tried Hinge. And my intention in dating was, to find somebody I could have fun with, to share weekends with, occasionally, weekday dinners, maybe a weekend getaway here and there, and have a companionship, a plus one to accompany me to events. So I wasn't about to join Tinder. My understanding of this app is that it's a hookup app, and that wasn't my intention. Uh, so I can't give any other opinion of it aside from that, because I never tried it and that was not for me. But from listening to other people in podcasts, I've heard others mention that these two apps, Bumble and Hinge, um, were the ones to try, especially for somebody my age. And so that's what I did. And what a shit show, if I can just be honest. It was a freaking shit show. It was so discouraging and frustrating. I felt like I was putting my best foot forward, to get dressed up and show up looking nice to a date, taking care of myself, doing the hair and the nails. Women go before women go out on a date, a lot of prep has taken place and a lot of money has been spent by the time she walks out the front door to go on that date. So, yeah, I believe a man should pay for dates. He thinks he's the only one spending money on this date, but that is not true. That is very wrong. That is very far from the truth because before we walk out the door, we've already spent a ton of money on that first date. That outfit, the shoes, the nails, the hair, the facials, the brows, the Botox. We want to look presentable and we want to look beautiful. And sometimes, especially at our age, that's going to require spending some money. So probably that first date is going to probably cost us more because we're trying to make a better impression, at least if we're really trying to put our best foot forward. That's been my experience. And I know that, speaking to other friends, and just in general, not even to go out on a date, it takes a lot of money to try to maintain ourselves and try to age gracefully. It doesn't just like happen by magic. We have to put some effort into it. So yeah, if somebody cancels a date on us at the last minute, we're already in the red on our date because we've already spent the money on our hair and the nails and all the things. So I don't know if men listen to this, but keep that in mind, please. So I went into this dating scene with the intent to find someone, right? Quote unquote, to fit my appearance parameters and my age parameters, and my location parameters, and my intention parameters. Companionship plus one, someone to make me laugh, someone I can learn from, etc., etc. So I went on date after date, disappointed. I try to give them at least 3 dates before I cut it off. That was kind of like my little rule. One of my clients is a dating coach, and that was her suggestions. Like give them each 3 dates because sometimes on the first date we're nervous or they're nervous and things can be a little awkward, and the second or the third date might be better, and the chemistry might start building up, or not chemistry, but you might start to find more things in common, and start becoming a little bit more comfortable with each other. And so that was a suggestion. She also suggested that I kiss my appearance requirements goodbye. She said, quit looking for the typical man you're always looking for, the tall guy, the whatever, that they got to be have a certain profession, certain education level, or certain age range. Like, just go away with that because that limits us to what we're looking for. But not only that, that hasn't worked. If we're in the dating scene in midlife, again, that hasn't worked for us. So try something new. So I tried, I tried to follow some of the suggestions that, she's not my, I didn't hire her to be like my dating coach, but she's my client in my business, and I help her with her online. I help her manage her business online, and we, do online marketing and stuff like that. And so I consume her content, by default, just trying to like help her with her blogs and her newsletters and social media. I have to read her content or watch her videos. I edit her YouTube videos. So, I'm just kind of consuming this content by default. And so I started like thinking, okay, maybe I should start taking some of her suggestions. And she's a dating coach for women over 50, by the way. So it was like, I am her target market. So, anyways, after a couple of months of dating on these dating apps, I hit a wall and I had to stop. It was just frustrating. It was dead end. It was, it's just like, it just, I just couldn't deal. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of, not gonna lie, there's a lot of married men on there. And it's hard to tell if someone's being honest or truthful, right? Like it's hard to tell when all you know is that you've met someone online. Like, I don't know. So, anyways, I hit a wall. It was a shit show. And then, when I tried to get back in the dating scene again a few months later, the universe conspired to not let me meet a decent man to date and brought COVID down to make sure that that didn't happen. So that happened. And I think it was just after like the vaccine became available, I jumped back on the dating apps. And I remember this because then one of the things in the dating apps was that you could you could pick if you wanted, like one of the requirements was if they had to, if they had to be vaccinated or not. Or you could put on there if you were vaccinated or not. Oh my gosh. It's just so funny where things went. And again, I joined the dating scene with the intention of finding this man, right? And I did meet a great man. And we're currently still good friends, actually. However, and oh my gosh, I hope he never listens to this. I simply was not attracted to him physically or sexually. That's just the honest truth. It, he was so respectful and kind and smart and creative and also short, which I was willing to overlook. Um, and I did, but I just couldn't get myself to even kiss him. Like I had a great time with him. We had great fun. I think we probably dated for like 3 months, dinners and museums and hikes. And oh, he did like this really cute um, picnic on a hike that we did one time. And it was really nice. I mean, he had the charcuterie and the dessert and the wine, and it was really cute. But I just was not attracted. And really, the deal breaker is that he has teenage kids. And even though he's older than me, he started having children at a much older age than I did. And his kids, he had 4 kids, and some are tween. He had a tween and a couple teens, and then one in his 20s. But the truth is that people with kids that age, they still need to drive them around and still need to take them to school and help them with homework and take them to sports and splitting weekends with the other parent. And that person and I are living very different lifestyles. And it just doesn't fit into my lifestyle. I can pick up and go today and leave for a week. In fact, I am. I'm leaving to Palm Springs today for a few days. I went to Greece, for 10 days last month. And I'm just, I can pick up and go whenever I want. I can take my laptop and work from wherever in the world. And my sons are fine. My older son lives on his own. My younger son lives with me, but he doesn't need the attention like tweens and teens need. He's an adult. So this man was a no-go for me. But what this did do for me, number one, is I made a great friend because we are still friends and we still keep in touch. And he's super smart. Um, However, what this did do for me, aside from that, was it made it very clear what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I think that that's one of the great things about dating a lot of people is it helps us get clear. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a no-go for me. Like, okay, I really like this. So I want to find somebody with this quality, or this is a deal breaker. So I spent So when I realized that this had helped me get clear on that, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go on as many dates as possible. And I figured it's a numbers game, right? And again, I did that. I went on a ton of dates and I'm like, okay, it's a numbers game. At some point, you know, I gotta hit it. I gotta hit one, right? That sounded bad. But I hit a wall. I hit a wall again and I stopped. I just couldn't continue dating and I took a break. I'm gonna take a little coffee break here real quick too. And then finally, in the fall of 2022, so last fall, I decided to go on dates again. At this time, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go on dates for the sake of having a good time, meeting interesting people, getting dressed up, and if anything else, to go to places that I've been wanting to go to. I had one to two go to restaurants in town that I would meet my first dates at if they didn't make a suggestion of their own. Most gentlemen offer to drive to my area, um, so that we as women feel comfortable. And I like that. So most of the time they would ask where I wanted to meet. And, so I had a couple of restaurants picked out in town that I just kind of always made those my go-tos for my first date. I think at one point I even had like, this is where I go on my first date. This is where I go on my second date. This is where I go on the third date. If I'm still feeling like not super comfortable, right? To venture off a little bit more. And safety is incredibly important, so you got to put together your own safety plan and of what you feel comfortable with. Some women are perfectly fine getting in a car with somebody they've just met and driving 60 miles. I don't. And then I made a list of places that I wanted to go to, restaurants and museums and festivals and concerts, things that I wanted to do that I've always thought, oh, it'd be fun to go on a date there. So I started making a list of all those things. And when I see things come up, see things on Instagram that somebody suggested or somebody told me about some, I added to this list. And this list was like notes in my phone. So men will have ideas of where they would like to take you, or they'll make suggestions. But if they don't, then they'll ask, okay, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? So then I would just kind of take a look at my list and see what sounded interesting for that particular time or weekend. And, I'd suggest one of those places, because then I can just start going to the places that I wanted to go to. And it was about going out and doing the thing, visiting the restaurant, trying this, trying that. And it wasn't so much about, let me go find a man, you know, to date. It became more about the fun. And that's what I did. I started having fun. I renewed my Rent the Runway membership so that I always had fun, new outfits to try. I got dressed up, I did my hair, I did all the things. And I was having a really good time dating. I finally felt like I got to a point where I was like, this is my groove. Like, this is what I like. I like to be wine and dine, like go out and have fun. But the true intention of it was just that. It was just to have a good time. And it wasn't about, is this the one? Is this guy going to be good? Is this guy going to be fun? Is this guy going to be somebody that, I can date for a month or two or a year or whatever. If I happen to meet someone that I wanted to spend more time with, then we can cross that bridge at that point, when we got there. But the intention was, I'm going out to have fun. And I'll be honest, I was probably going on 2 to 3 dates a week with like different men, just dinners, happy hour, museums, a show, just like fun stuff. And it's not like I know this can sound bad, but it's not like I was making out with them. I wasn't kissing anybody. I don't think anybody even made it past the third date. Like I had to keep the roster pretty full. I kept funneling them. It's like, oh no, I don't like that. I don't like that. He's canceled on me twice already. You're out. Somebody was disrespectful. Somebody made sexual suggestions right off the bat. Done, done, done. It's like it was easy to just like, okay, you're done. Let's bring another one in. Oh gosh, I hope this doesn't sound bad. Um, and this is all men that I was meeting on dating apps. So it felt like, I don't want to put it this way, but it felt disposable. It felt like I felt disposable too. It's like I feel like everybody on these apps, like, when I sit there and meet somebody, I'm like, oh, this man's probably going out with two or three other women this week too. So it's not like we were, jumping in bed or anything. It was literally just conversations to get to know each other over dinner, over, wine, or, over, at a museum or whatever, right? On a hike. So, um, so and I reached the point where I thought, I am really enjoying this. And that's what I talked about this, like I said in episode 4 with my prima Jessica. And I just felt like this is fun. Like I don't have this like big time commitment to anyone. I'm still independent. I'm still doing the things that I love. I'm still working on my business. And if ever when I reached a point that I was busy in my business, then I would just cut back on my dating, and I didn't have to say anything to anybody. I didn't have to say, hey, I'm going to be busy with this. It was just whatever. These men were not, you know, um, a part of my life. I didn't have to, explain myself to anybody, and it just felt very liberating and fun. And I would just bring the dates to a halt if I needed to focus more on my business or more on family, and then I'd pick it back up when I was ready. And and so I did this, honestly, not very long, probably about 2 months, maybe less. And I just thought, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And just when I thought that this is what I'm doing from here on out, the universe once again conspired to switch things up for me. And I met a great man in real life, no less, in person. And this idea of going out on dates with different men, it was no longer appealing to me. I enjoy spending time with this one man, and he was so kind and respectful to me. We had an amazing time, amazing conversation, vulnerable conversations, deeper below the surface conversations. And he treated me so well, and I just thought, I can't just keep him on a roster, you know, with the others. I can't just let him go. I didn't want to be on all these dates and, I don't know, hurt him. And I also thought, I can't let a good man like this just go because I want to be having fun doing this other thing. This one was a special one. So I decided I was going to stop the whole dating thing and just spend time with this one man and see where things went. And so here we are, 5 months in, and I'm having a great time. And he makes me feel safe and protected, and he's very respectful and very kind. And yeah, and we're still having a great time. We're still doing the dinners and going out and doing things that I like and that he likes, and traveling, and it's fun. And so in my experience, each time I've reached a point where I tell myself, I'm just going to go out and have a good time rather than trying to find someone to fit XYZ parameters. That's when someone special has appeared in my life. If you're familiar with the law of attraction or manifesting, you set your intentions and you take inspired action towards those intentions. And then you have to let go of the attachment to the how or even to the results. And I know it sounds weird, but when you manage to do that and when you learn how to do that, things manifest at an amazing speed. And I've seen this happen in my relationships, and I've seen this happen in business and personal life and in other areas as well. I can truly attest that this has been the situation in the significant relationships that I've had in my life. It's just when I've hit the point of, like when I was graduating from college, I had a couple months before graduation, I broken up with someone and I thought, you know what? I don't have time to date. I'm about to graduate. I'm going to just focus on graduating, getting this done, getting to the next step, finding a career, getting myself settled in to a job and getting all that done. And literally within a month of like making that decision, I end up meeting my husband. And then this has happened again now. I feel like just when I think, okay, I'm just gonna go out and have fun and do this a whole other dating thing, and you know, and if I meet someone great, then great, fabulous, and boom, he shows up. So my advice from a non-expert in the dating field who's actually been out there in her 50s dating in the dating scene in these days for several years. This is my advice. Number one, work on yourself first. Spend time with yourself in your own company. Make sure you love yourself first. Make sure you love your own company and that you're someone that you would want to date. Number two, date yourself. Take yourself out on dates. Participate in the activities and the hobbies you like and have fun doing it alone. Chances are there may be people there you would like to date. Number three, get very clear on what you want and what you don't want. And sometimes dating a bunch of people helps us get clear on that. Make a list of what you're looking for. I'm talking primarily values and your deal breakers, and refer back to it often, especially when you're not sure about someone. Go down that list and see if they meet your values. And if they don't, then you know that's not the man for you or the person for you. If they have one of your deal breakers, nothing else is ever going to make him or her okay for you. A deal breaker is a deal breaker. Let it go. Number four, don't ever think you can change someone. Accept them for who they are. Yes, you can maybe buy them a shirt or the jeans that you'd like to see them in once you're in a relationship, but that's it. His personality and his traits are his, much like yours are a part of who you are, and no one needs to come into your life trying to change you, period. Don't let that happen, but also don't try to change somebody else. Number five, have fun. Do the activities that you like. Keep a list of those and take yourself out on those dates. Once you start meeting people you want to date, then you can start knocking some of those off your list. And number six, when you have those dates that are just impossible to believe, I can't believe this just happened, laugh it off. Share the stories with friends. Why not? You don't have to mention names, of course, just the experiences, but share those stories because let me tell you, you're going to run into some funny ass stories out there. The things that people do is sometimes unbelievable. Now, going back to Ali Wong's show, she shares her experience dating as a recently divorced woman over 40. Her intentions are very different than mine, especially at my age. I'm 10 years older than her. But I can say her stories are very relatable. I have several single friends who have also been on the dating scene recently, and the stories we've shared with each other are very similar to Ali's, except that Ali is so much more raw and really paints a really clear picture. I highly recommend her show. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. So, as we close today's episode, I'd like to remind you life does not stop at midlife, it's just getting started. Embrace the thrill, brave the uncertainty, and remember you've got an entire community here with you on this journey. And who knows, love might just be around the corner. Now, I want to share this is a part where I'm going to share what I'm loving right now. Today, I'm loving the Dream Your Life podcast with Julia Martin. It's a podcast about manifestation and I just love how simple she makes manifesting principles and the energy that she brings. She's a manifesting and business coach and focuses primarily in helping women manifest coaching businesses. I've been listening to her for a few months and I have really been hooked on it. And I'll post a link in the show notes. And she runs an amazing coaching program to help people like me start a coaching business. So I just recently joined her program and I'm super excited. It just started and I'm super excited about what I'm going to be creating with her help. The other thing that I've been loving, I'm going to share two things today, is that I've been staying off TV. Instead of opting to turn the TV on, especially in the evenings when I think like I deserve a break, I intentionally stop myself because I haven't taken inventory of the actual number of hours I spend on TV, but I think it's a lot. So instead of watching TV, I stop myself. I go out for a walk and I listen to a podcast. I grab a book and read, or I listen to another module or two in one of the several coaching programs that I'm currently in. And it has allowed me to really grow in other areas and tackle more things that I've been wanting to do. It's been allowing me to record and publish more podcast episodes. So it's been a win in my book. Well, that's all for this episode of Modern Latina in Midlife. Thank you for being with me. Share this with your friends and your primas and reach out to me if you're brave enough to come on the show and share some funny dating stories. Let's do it. Or if you'd like to submit a voice memo or a recording with a funny dating story, you can remain anonymous on the episode. I love it if you would send me your stories, and maybe I can do a compilation of funny dating stories for one of the episodes coming up. I'm Sonia. Thank you so much for being here. Again, share this with your primas. If you're liking this podcast or if you like this episode, please leave me a rating so that we can reach more Latinas and help each other and build community. Thank you so much for being here. Hasta la próxima.